to the message recap, where we discuss the messages from the previous Sunday. We're in a series called This Changes Everything, which Kevin disagrees with the title.
Yes, I do.
You just want more clarification. But we give it.
We give clarification
I know.
every week.
Even in your intro, it was Jesus changes everything. Because that is the truth. Jesus is
and
the
we
one
talked
that
about
changes
that.
everything.
And we're in a series called This Changes Everything. The message this week was on marriage.
Yep.
And
Malwage.
the thing I learned the most, it's Interstate 35.
There you go,
It's
Dave.
Interstate 35.
I mean, the truth
Yeah.
probably should matter.
It will set you free.
Ask the
That's
state
not-
what they call it. The
that's
people who
not
built
like,
it, ask them what they call it.
That's not like a nickname for it.
Whoa, we're changing the rules now.
Yes.
Is there a proper nickname?
Yes.
You can make up whatever nickname
No.
you want.
Well, fine, but mine just makes more sense.
I call it the Zoom Zoom. I'm going on the Zoom Zoom downtown. That's my nickname for it.
You see, this makes no sense. It is an interstate. That's what we should call it. The interstate.
So when you literally say the interstate, we're going to take the interstate.
No, how are you getting there? 35.
35. Yeah, same. 35W, 35E, whatever, whichever one you're
Because
on.
whether you use throughway, freeway, whatever, well, which one?
The expressway is the
Which-
only one in
which
Minnesota.
No, there's not.
Well, okay.
There's
the only
many.
one we're going to drive on. I'm not going to go all the way down to 90. Screw that one.
Well, you don't want to go anywhere?
Nope.
Anywhere cool? West?
90's boring.
You can go 80. You can go 90.
And the thing is, if you go downtown, there are signs that say expressway on like 94. I'm not making anybody's
That would
case,
be-
but it says expressway.
That would
down
be
in
a
94.
Thank
shortcut.
you very much.
That would be a small portion of the interstate.
It would be
That
the
is
quickest
just
way
used
to get
for a
somewhere
shortcut.
is the expressway.
It is not
Thank you very
the
much.
term
Anyway,
for the
what
road.
I think we discovered is I'm right. And about a lot of things. And marriage.
and marriage. Yeah.
So there you go.
So there it is.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think we've ever talked about marriage. I mean, okay. So there's not a lot of Bible passages on marriage, especially New Testament. There's probably only 2 or 3. They all say the exact same thing as far as husband and wife instructions. But I don't think we've ever talked about it from the angle of Jesus changing everything and how clearly Paul ties both the husband and the wife role. He makes this just big appeal to, because of what Jesus has done,
Right.
now act this way or be this way, or, view your spouse in this new sort of light because of it. And so hopefully, I mean, most of the message was very much tied towards you've got to be a Christian, have put your trust in Jesus, want a growing relationship with God. Otherwise, because Jesus doesn't, I don't care then,
Right.
But yeah, those separate roles. And then we didn't spend much time on it because I already talk a long time, but that becoming one, when we both do our thing that God has asked us to do because of Jesus, there's this unity that you just don't get otherwise. And like trying to explain that, I think, is kind of like trying to explain what it's like when you experience God. Like there's not really a good word to kind of say it, but there's just something different. There's this connection with your spouse that is deeper and richer and more meaningful, and like I said, on a spiritual level as well, that is really what God intended. I mean, all the way back in Genesis, sort of thing. So so that was that. There's the 2-minute version of what took me about 40 minutes to say.
Yeah, marriage is a hard thing to talk about because no matter how many disclaimers you give, I had 2 comments from people about, well, I guess I have. Whoa, I know your situation. No. You need some serious work. One of them is married to might be a serial killer. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's just not. It's really weird. I think the key element is this, which you covered very well, and that is to have a marriage that God wants us to have, it takes two healthy, fulfilled people. There's only one way to be healthy and fulfilled, and that is in a relationship, a fulfilling and completing relationship with God. That's where the puzzle came in. And as each person is completely satisfied, fulfilled, then the need to control, the need to have your way, the need to fight, is gone. When there's needs aren't there. I am fulfilled. Now, as a fulfilled person, I can minister to you, would be a word that we would use. I can minister to you, and vice versa. And that's how God intended it to be. Unfortunately, we skip that first part in many things. You made a little list about,
it's hard to
not
do?
lying. Yeah. It's really hard not to lie. It's really hard not to take advantage of people. It's really hard not to gossip. It's really hard to forgive. Yeah. Well, of course, in ourselves, you made it very clear. On our own, those things, and unfortunately, we try to do all those things on our own way too much. And it's no different than marriage. We're trying to do marriage. Well, God says this, so I'm going to grit my teeth.
I
and do
better
it.
just submit.
Yeah.
And every time I do, I'm still keeping a tally sheet and tensions building inside. And I'm getting more frustrated because it's not really submission even then. Like
Right,
it's just,
right.
For this marriage one and going forward in the series, if we just put our trust in Jesus to go to heaven, and now we're going to start obeying what the Bible says, we'll become very frustrated, angry, short, impatient, terrible people, really. But I'm just doing what God said. The only way to do what God says, and the verses that Paul talked about in Ephesians makes it very clear. As our relationship is transforming our own attitudes, our own character, as our character is being transformed.
Renew your mind, that sort of thing. Yeah.
As that is being fulfilled and satisfied and complete in a relationship with God, then you said spillover a few times. Only then can we really have a proper marriage. Only then can we really forgive others. Only then can we really do anything God's asked us to do. Because in our old nature, we can't.
No. You can try, and you can maybe look good for a while.
To others, but it just makes you more frustrated inside. It is that renewing our nature. It is our nature that needs to be transformed. That is only done not in a prayer, Jesus save my soul. That is only done in a relationship with God that Jesus makes possible, that we are transformed and we can be, not just do, be the way God wants us to be. And that's the what we call all the time the simplicity of Christianity. That's what makes all the do's in the Bible work. And that's the only thing that makes marriage work. It really is.
The proper way anyway.
Yeah. No, I love how you said there's a lot of marriages out there that we would say that works. It's just not the way God intended it to.
Yeah.
What did you say? It's working like a business agreement. We've agreed to, okay, you're not going to touch this, and you're not going to go there, and you're not going to remind me of this, and we're going to live with our boundaries.
We'll share bank accounts and sleep in the same bed.
Yep. And we will be so aware of each other's boundaries that we've learned to make it work. And that, it works compared to what? I don't know, but it's not what God designed. It's just not what God designed.
Yeah.
I think this message was very counterculture.
Well, yeah, I said that.
Yeah. Extremely countercultural. Just because, hey, you both have different roles. Quit trying to go into the other one's lane. Stay in your lane, kind of a deal.
I know just from experience, dozens and dozens and dozens of marriages that I've done with people that their idea of we're equal. Who makes decisions? We both do. Everything's equal. My dad has a saying from way back, call him old-fashioned, but anything with two heads is a monster. And when a marriage is that way, whoever is wittier than the other, stronger than the other, yells louder than the other, is the one that gets their way. What kind of marriage is that? That's what works out in the we're both the leader. No, you can't have two leaders. You can't.
Right. But I did I did like the clarification on in particular the submit portion. That doesn't mean that you just roll over and just
I was going to
take
say, of
whatever.
course you like the part of the submit one.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you just whatever they say. That's it. That's the end of you don't voice your opinion. You don't do any. No, that's not how it works. You can still voice your opinion and work it out. But at the end of the day, whatever the decision is from the head of the household, that's
because of the the whole narrative of culture and the feminist movement and all that sort of stuff, which I mean some of it is probably rightly so. But instantly when you read verses like wives submit to your husbands, well, so many people's minds go instantly to worst case scenario. And what if my husband is this year? All these sorts of things. Listen,
abusive.
Then there's some other things to read and follow and godly instructions, but that's not all.
No.
So I don't know. We go to extremes to try and find a loophole out of it. And well, but what if you're not in an extreme?
Right.
Then what?
Yeah.
What do you, we didn't spend any time talking about this, and unhealthy marriages, unfortunately, are a huge sort of thing.
Right.
So what else would there be? Well, first of all, what would define an unhealthy marriage versus an unhappy one? And then what God says in Ephesians chapter 5 is still true, but what else would also be true, and which ones would which steps would you take first, or those sorts of things?
Interesting. When would those roles be? I don't have to follow what God says. We have to follow what God says, or this is what He wants us to do. Until and you even said too. It doesn't say. It says to submit in everything. Well, we know that's what it says. What does it mean?
Yeah.
We know it doesn't mean, we're going to kill the neighbors and be quiet about it. No, it doesn't. It means, I think it comes down to this. Both roles of leading and being responsible is just as hard as submitting. As a matter of fact, I just want to say it here. I know in life, in jobs and careers, I've had both roles. I've had the leader, the owner, responsibility, and I've also had the, hey, you know what? I'll do whatever you ask me to do. I'm not responsible.
Oh, man.
And I'll tell you what. The submission role is easier.
Absolutely.
It just is easier. The
weight of responsibility
is incredible.
Is not there.
Unfortunately, too many husbands want to be the leader without taking the weight of the responsibility for outcome. Where are we going and what are we doing? And so that's a terrible situation too.
Yep.
But really being a responsible leader is not easy, especially when you're doing it with the care of everyone in the family. I care about the family more than I care about my own wishes. That's where being fulfilled with God is so important. It has to happen first. But when do you not do that? I think it comes back to this. An unhealthy marriage versus unhappy comes back to where we started earlier, was just talking about having whole people who are healthy individuals. An unhealthy individual would be an extreme narcissist, would be somebody very, very selfish. How do you work with somebody who the core, they are selfish to the core? That's hard to work. That's unhealthy. And you don't say an unhealthy marriage. You have to look at the unhealthy individuals. When an individual is so unhealthy that they're so controlling about everything, either one, you can't, it's hard to work in that situation. You can still do your part, but it won't work if there is an unhealthy person. You can do it in pleasing God and say, this is my role. Doesn't mean it's going to work. It's just not. When you have an angry person who is angry from childhood, their anger is in their core. What you do is not going to change that unhealthy anger in their life. And so a lot of marriage counseling.
So if you're a wife, do you still submit? If you're a husband, do you still love? To what point then?
Yeah, I think it's too. So if you're in that role, I think there's this thing you throw in there of boundaries that God respects you as an individual. You have, when somebody is disrespecting, hurting, take advantage of, you can back off. I know what God's intention is that you do this, but it's not over. And here's where I think we can really answer. It's not over a preference thing. It's over a principle. So if your husband is leading you and your preference is, I'd rather live over there than over there, you submit to that. You just do. You submit. Hey, it's not the way I want it. You submit to it. But when it's not healthy, it's hurtful, it's harmful, that's where we have to have boundaries for our own life, that God says, hey, I'm a child of God. He respects me. I am being irresponsible by letting you treat me like this.
So what if, just throw out hypothetical situations, because I know people's minds are probably going to be racing right now.
Right.
If you're a wife, and let's just take the house situation you just brought up, your husband is extremely narcissistic, very selfish, bad with money, bad budget. You've got a family to take care of, but wants to buy this house over here that you don't want, that costs too much money, that you know is going to hurt your family. What do you do?
Yeah, I would think in that case,
Do you submit and still go along and potentially lose everything?
I think that's more of a preference thing that you submit to. That is not necessarily a harmful. It might hurt your financial future,
Okay.
but you married him. I mean, we should start there.
Can we just
should
talk
start
about
there?
once you've been on 3 dates with somebody,
Yeah, don't you
go
know?
to pre-marriage counseling.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, the fact that you wait until you're in, after you've dated for 3 years and you're already in love and now you're engaged and you're already booked the venue and are paying $1,000 and then you want to go to pre-marriage counseling.
yeah. It's
Skip
too late.
it at this point. It's too
It's
late.
too
You are
late.
wasting your time, your counselor's time. Just give it up. It ain't
You've
going to
already
do any
gotten
good.
comfortable in the situation. Yeah.
Man, a huge reason why you
Yeah.
should talk about how do you view money? How do you view parenting? What political party do you align
Absolutely.
with? Where are you spiritually?
Right. What
What
is your thought
are
on
your
kids
goals
in general?
in life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
goals.
man, I've talked.
What are your
to
goals? How many kids do you want? What is your attitude in raising kids? Do you have like an attitude? Could you explain how you raise a child? You teach and train. How? If you don't talk about that stuff and you get married because you're in love, you deserve what you get. Okay, I mean that's just it.
That's a bad reason.
That's terrible. And no wonder. My dad just asked me the other day, "What is divorce rate at these days?" And I said, "I think it's 60%." And he
don't know.
was
I haven't looked.
anyway. He said, "Oh, it's for this reason." I said, "Dad, it's the biggest reason is people don't know what their role is when they get married. That's the biggest reason for divorce, and so they marry the wrong person. They're marrying a person that does
Wait,
not."
so are you saying there's a right person?
Not a right person. There is a right type of person.
There you go.
Yeah. There's not one person out there. There may be one in a million that God says, no, I want you two together for a specific purpose.
And they
but that's not
all
his practice.
go to Christian colleges.
Yeah. Okay, that's not his practice.
Oh, we're not going to get into that part.
That's,
God told me I should marry you.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
that's a
but
great
yeah,
pickup
I
line.
think it's so. That's why even talking about marriage is so hard because there's so much to it, and the Bible says so little about it. This is all it says:
Yeah.
this, and don't, withhold it, people. That it's just so simple. This
Husband and wife instruction is just this. There's a few more about
Yeah.
marriage, but
Yeah.
husband and wife,
that's it. It's
Is-
it's that simple.
there's nothing
and,
else.
Boy, if I'm a husband and I'm called to love this person, I better know who this person is deeper than how they look when they're 23.
Yeah.
And do I enjoy your personality? Do I enjoy your sense of humor?
Is this somebody
Now
who I think I will be able to love?
Right.
Like, or are they going to get on my nerves 5 years from now?
It's too easy to just, I can put up with that. I can
No,
put
you
up with
can't.
that. Until we're married a year, I can put up with that. But then finally, hey, guess what? I'm so sick and tired of putting up with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hit a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And really nothing's changed. It's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Just haven't seen it. But marriage is a thing. So in marriage counseling, it's most important not to talk as a couple. You got to fix what are your core problems. Well, I'm very controlling. Until we can fix that in you, I don't care who you marry.
It's not going to matter.
Working on things together isn't going to work until you first get a handle on your controlling, your anger. Until you personally can overcome your anger issues. Marriage counseling together, working things out, make sure. Well, then don't step on the rug with your left foot when you come in the house. Use your right foot. You can't live like that. You've got to solve these problems. And what's the best way to solve these problems? A relationship with God.
Yeah.
And counseling will help you manage your anger. Only God can take that anger, literally take it. And so it's that's the answer. I mean, it's a great message. It's good for everybody. If we listen to what you said and don't add to it or take away, I think it could be helpful.
We could just, you know what we should do for the rest of the series? We'll just tag team it. You take the first 20 minutes and just do week 2 message. And then I'll take the second 20 minutes back.
This is what it means.
Once you've got this, listen.
Because of this.
We're not going to go anywhere else until we've got this.
So we're going to see something new this week.
Now,
Oh, okay.
let's go this way.
Okay.
We have never once tag teamed a message.
No, we've talked about it many times.
Yeah, we have.
Other than
We've
that
never
you
done it.
asked for it,
That's not a message. That's cheating.
kind of.
My
Yeah.
favorite
That's
part.
that's our break weeks.
I don't want to
My
prepare
favorite
weeks.
part of Sunday and the message, my favorite part was when I got to call you, hey, little youngster, come on.
Oh man.
That was great.
It was, yeah, you guys were taking shots at each other all through the. I got to do better at this puzzle than the old man did. You know.
Hey,
and then,
just so
And then
we
I
know.
screwed it
Screwed
up.
it up.
Oh, dang it.
You know, there's codes on the back of the pieces.
Yeah, well, I got a little too cocky.
I don't need that.
I don't need this.
5 years. That was a great
full
line.
disclosure, it was Dave's idea to say it's an interstate. It was Dave's idea. He told me to do what I did.
Oh,
But
man.
I planted a seed. He took it somewhere that
He grew the oak tree.
He made it something way better than I had thought of. That counseling thing was great. Yeah, that was a great line.
man.
All right, well, come to service next week. You might see a tag team. Huh? We'll see you next week for a recap.